Out and About Production presents.
Hey, good morning. BJ and Joe. Well, no, BJ without Joe. Out and about on the recumbent, as singular. Yeah, Joe's younger sister's 50th high school reunion is coming up tonight, the main dinner part, and she's going to be helping her sister Sue do decorations, because Sue and Bob, her husband, Zanzig, are part of the what do you call it, the committee, you know. So they're doing decorating. So today I am doing an official Pikes Peak Region Recumbent Network Meet and Eat ride. Ta-da! Okay, enough of that. Basically what it is that I picked a place to meet at a restaurant. Oh, I picked a place to meet. Oh, I didn't want to come this early. I screwed up. Oh well. Yeah, I should have waited in case a car snuck up on me. But yeah, so what we do is we pick a place to eat, and then we and you can you know, ride there on your own, be there by a certain time, or I'm going to go down to Swan Lake here in Monument Valley Park, and I'm going to pick up whoever decides they want to come my way. Well, there's nobody here, so I'm going to turn. Yeah, so now we're on the Mesa Greenway. I used to call it the Mesa Springs, but I've decided to leave out the springs, because there's no springs. So it's the Mesa Greenway. Like I said, its real name is probably the Mesa Springs Greenway, but I'm going to call it the Mesa Greenway, because there is a Mesa Trail too, but it's in a totally different area of town. So yeah, good morning. It's Saturday. As you can see, we got quite a bit of clouds, and it is supposed to pour pretty hard, you know, by late afternoon. So I'm hoping it'll hold off. Basically, I'm meeting people here down here at Monument Valley Park by Swan Lake at 10, and then we're going to ride up to the University Village, Colorado Center, and go to Smashburger for our eat part of the meet, and then according to what the weather looks like, I'll either just haul straight for home. Passing on your left, thank you. And or if the weather holds off, you know, I might morning. I might ride down, ride back down here with whoever, you know, parked their car over here. So, but yeah, so like I said, this is the Mesa Greenway. And good morning, folks. And yeah, it's really pretty. It's definitely a greenway with as much rain. We got, you know, it waited till late afternoon, but it poured. and it probably didn't stop till 6 o'clock this morning, but it wasn't like a really hard rain, but it was constant. So yeah, it's funny, we're kind of doing just backwards of tonight's video's ending point. We're on the same trail, but we're going the other direction. But yeah, well, the first test of the new GoPro Mini, there's a GoPro Mini 11, seems to work good. I did have a little trouble making the video because this is kind of set up for a little different, I don't know what it is, some sort of a frequency thing. Howdy, have a good day. And yeah, so but luckily the video production program, which is called Movie Maker Pro, that I use, it does have a free version. The pro version you got to pay for, but it's only like $15 and it's a one-time charge. You know, it's not monthly, it's a one-time charge, and it's very simple and easy to use, and it's kind of what I needed. Someday I may try something a little fancier like some of you guys got. Now I know a lot of you all basically download directly from your you know, you download off of your camera, your GoPro, or your Insta360 or whatever, and then you oh boy, I think I'm gonna have to stop and get off because the way they move this. So all right, I will get back to you. Okay, well, that was very unceremonious. Thank you. Sorry about that, but I had to. These people are assholes. You know, you're not. Morning. You know, you're not supposed to ride side by side on the trail. You're supposed to ride, you know, single file. But people just, you know, they're gonna take it the whole dang trail. And I'm not moving. I'll fucking hit them. I don't care. They can move. I've got, you know, I've got my space. They can go to single file. If they want to, you know, take on a, you know, a 60-pound trike, well, it's going to be ugly. But, no, I'm not budging. Sometimes you just have to stand up for your, you know, your rights, you know. And I have the right to the trail, my side of the trail. Okay, enough of that evil stuff. Just an irk. It does irk me, definitely, when people do that. The only time Joe and I go side by side is if we need to have a conversation about, you know, where we're going, what's going on, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this is definitely an urban trail, an urban greenway. There's this wall over here. On the other side of this wall is complete madness. That's I-25. Interstate 25, north and south. Where all the craziness happens, baby. Yeah. It's so unreal how peaceful and nice it is, you know, over here. And it's so chaotic and crazy over there. Good morning, sir. Passing on your left. Thank you very much. Have a good day. But, oh, to get back to what I was talking about, yeah, so tonight's video that you'll see, no, I'm sorry, it won't be tonight, it'll be Sunday, because we're not going to be home tonight, because of the Joe's Sisters reunion. So it'll be Sunday night. That's the first test of the GoPro Mini 11. I guess it's GoPro 11 Mini. Okay. Up over the pedestrian bridge, as they call it. This takes you over I-25 and to Monument Valley Park, the center part of Monument Valley Park, and then our waiting point at Stanley Lake. Now, we might have a couple of guys show up on recumbent bicycles. I wish I could remember their name. I think the gentleman on the Zub 700 Max is Tom, but I'm not 100% sure. And the gentleman on the I can't remember. Oh, the totally retro cool Ryan. I think it was a Ryan. Yeah, it was either a Ryan or a Vanguard or something like that. But it's one. It's a recumbent bicycle, two-wheeler. They don't make anymore. Got some railroad tracks here, down there. Yeah. Okay. Now we got the big old downhill. Oh, Nelly. Yeah, if you guys remember, howdy. If you guys remember Roy Rogers, his sidekick, which I think was played by Slim Pickens, but I'm not 100% sure, had a Jeep that they called Nellie Bell. And I actually thought about naming my trike Nellie Bell, but decided not to do that. Okay. Now we're now in Monument Valley Park. And this is the picnic area. And right over here is Swan Lake. So now I have a half an hour to wait. So I got going a little too early, but I didn't want to be late, since I'm the guy that's supposed to be leading. Shouldn't be late if you're the guy that's supposed to be leading. Yeah. I think I'm gonna just come over here and turn around the picnic table here. Goose poop everywhere. What a drag. That's the only bad thing about this area. Goose poop everywhere. Okay, well. This is Stanley Lake. Yes. To me, it's more like Stanley Pond. But, you know how it is. Now, for a lot of years, this wasn't even here. It was just, dirt. And because they drained it and everything else many years ago. And, like way back, I think like before 1900. And then maybe 2 years ago now, they brought Stanley Lake back. And they've done their best, but they've had a real problem with algae. And that green algae stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna. Oops, lost my pedal here. Yeah, trying to go between all the, the fresh goose poop, and not get too much on my trike. Need a little push here. There we go. All right. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's the pavilion right there. The building over there behind the trees is the swimming pool. It's one of the few city pools that we've got left. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down, and I'll bring her back on when if anybody else shows up. If not, then you're just going to have to ride along with me. All right? So, hey, catch you on the flip side. Bye. Okay, well, it's officially 10 o'clock, and nobody's here. So, I think we're going to head. Hopefully so there'll be somebody up at the up at Smashburger. So I'm not, all by myself, all by myself. I don't want to be. Yeah, I know. That's ridiculous, isn't it? That's okay. Got to do something on a Saturday. All right. Got myself fired up here. Switch hands, release this brake. Release that brake, and away we go. All right. Buddy. So, we'll just do a little recording on our way. Good morning. But I figured if they weren't going to be here by 10, you know, I said we were going to leave it at 10, you know. So, and I haven't seen anybody, so I don't think anybody's going to show. It's a pretty cool scooter. I got folks over here killing it at pickleball, man. Part of me wouldn't mind, you know, checking it out, but you know, on our limited budget, we can only afford one pastime, and the recumbent trekking wins. Oh, hey. Good morning. Passing on your right. Thank you. Okay, let's see if I can get out of here without getting killed. Because of the pickleball courts, this is a crazy busy parking lot now. Used to be, you know, be like if there was a half a dozen cars in there. But now, okay. All right. So now we're on the newly concreted part of the west side of the Pikes Peak Greenway. And we got some dogs here. They won't eat me. Morning. Morning. Right there is Monument Creek. It doesn't turn into Fountain Creek till south of America the Beautiful Park, where Fountain Creek coming out of Manitou and Monument Creek coming down from, I don't know where, Denver, someplace up north, run into each other, and that's called a confluence. The duck pond, we had this in our last video too, so I'm not going to do like a tour of the duck pond. Besides that, basically we're supposed to, the way a meet and eat works is that normally what it does is because it's a motorcycle thing, but you pick a destination and everybody, you know, heads there via their own route. But I thought maybe, you know, maybe somebody would like, you know, to be, you know, maybe we could get a couple people together and actually have a little ride. Because our group, well, not group, our network, the Pikes Peak Region Recumbent Network, PPRRN, we don't have a formal ride schedule. Basically, if you want to have company on your ride, just put your ride in the events section on the Facebook group page, and let everybody know where to meet, and then, you know, take off and whatever we want to do. But meet and eat's a little more specific. We pick a location, and then everybody turns to there. But and yeah, it's funny because in the motorcycle world, it works really well. That's really nice. Really nice of those folks. Picking up trash on the greenway. If I would have known before I made, you know, this got a lot of nasty looking clouds up there. Yike. So Don't think I'm going to get out of this one without getting wet. But, you know what? Oh well. The trike won't melt, neither will I. And you can't trust the weather channels because one says that there's, very little chance of rain till like 4 o'clock. The other one says there's a 30% chance by noon. Good morning. Passing on your left. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Have a good day. Now they must have a big crew today. Like I said, I didn't find out about it till like yesterday, because I would have not mind helping. Funny, because, we do that on our own. The Trails and Open Space Coalition, otherwise known as TOSC, here in Colorado Springs, they have a program called One Bag, and so basically anytime you're on the trail, take this bag with you and get trash. Here comes somebody down. Howdy. But that's nobody that I know. Just another fellow triker. Not everybody who has a recumbent trike is part of the PPRRN, and as like I said, it's not a formal group. We don't have meetings. We don't have dues. We don't have there's no requirements except for you own and ride a trike. But yeah, this is the west side of the Pikes Peak Greenway, and it's pretty much recently been concreted. The upper part here on the north side of the Legacy Loop trailhead off of Fontanero Street and Recreation Way. That was all concrete, but this trail that I'm on right now was dirt for many years. Passing on your right. Thank you. You have a great day, you two. Should have been passing on the left. Oh well. They're right. Okay, I got to get this totally squared here. These boulevards are just wide enough that they will let a trike through. Now this is the Legacy Loop trailhead on the Pikes Peak Greenway. So basically we're going to go past what the part we did this morning, and we will continue north quite a ways up to where we can pick up the University Village, Colorado Center, and the Smash Burger. I have to always think how that goes. Howdy. Howdy. Morning, passing on your left. Thank you. Have a good day. Morning. No, I wonder if he's got a Stop Diabetes t-shirt or jersey like Joe has. We've only done one of the Tour de Cure, which is the national fundraising event, just because, man, the national organization just really wants to gouge you like crazy for money. I mean, like crazy. You know, not only do they expect you to go out and get a minimum of $250 worth of pledges, you know, which is bad enough because Joe and I hate to ask people for money. And, but on top of that, howdy, you know, they want to charge Joe a fee for participating. Now, I think if they're making you go out and get, making you go out and get contributions, you shouldn't have to, good morning? You shouldn't have to, you know, you shouldn't have to put up a fee on top of that, you know what I mean? That just doesn't seem right. Okay. Good morning, passing on your left. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Morning. Now you can definitely tell it's a weekend. The Pikes Peak Greenway is a very busy trail during the weekends. A lot of walkers, a lot of joggers, a lot of dog walkers, and of course bikes, trikes, and scooters. And good morning, passing on your left. Thank you. Whew. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. You know, I'm getting in a ride. Sorry for the flash of not many teeth, but come Wednesday, I finally get my new dentures, so I have a little more teeth. Not 100%. One of them they just couldn't make work, so I have a little bitty gap on the bottom, but that's okay. It's a lot better than what I have now. That and my dentures are like 25 years old. They've gone well past their prime. We are now on the Pop Cycle Bridge. All right, like I said, that's the Pop Cycle Bridge, and they call it that because there's a group here called Ride for Kids, and they have a Sunday ride, all summer long, and they stop at the Pop Cycle Bridge and have popsicles. Yeah. So I guess they didn't want to call it the Popsicle Bridge, so they call it the Pop Cycle Bridge. Yeah, okay. Now we're transforming from the South Greenway Trail to the North Greenway Trail. Pikes Peak Greenway Trail. I should say that because we have more than one Greenway here, see? Trail North, Pikes Peak Greenway. And now we go into our little wooded area here, which I really like. This is probably my favorite part of any of the trails. I mean, yes, you know, we do have homeless and that kind of stuff, but I don't know. We don't quite have a tree canopy, but it's pretty close. And it's just really beautiful. Yeah, when we go over the bridge, you should be able to go over Monument Creek. Yeah, it should be running hard because it's yeah, I'm sorry it's kind of gray today. We've kind of run past the sun, darn it. But yeah, thanks for coming along. And please do me a favor. Please, like, subscribe, and share. All right, see? Yeah, she's flowing today. She saw it all the way across. Yeah. But, and share the video with your friends, your neighbors, your enemies. Yeah. I don't know about the last one, but yeah. Like I said the other day, we're up to 465 subscribers, which is just awesome. It is just unbelievable. So I wasn't worried, not worried, but I wasn't really even thinking about, ever making 500. But now that we're pretty close, it would be really cool to make 500. Now we're back to going right along Monument Creek. Yeah, it is kind of strange because a lot of people, call the whole creek Fountain Creek, but actually it's not. It's Monument Creek till it gets down to the confluence point where it meets up with Fountain Creek. And then it turns into Fountain Creek all the way down from that point. Howdy. From that point all the way to, all the way to Pueblo, where it runs into the Arkansas River. Thank you. That's one of those bells that works all the time. A lot of the mountain bike guys and gals have these bells that work all the time, And the reason is, howdy? The reason is bears and other predator-type animals that might look at them and go, oh, look at that, a brightly colored lunch display. And so I guess even a small, tinkle of a bell will ward off a bear, so that's pretty cool. Howdy? We have bells, but they're the manual type. You have to ring them, Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, back up. Slow down, guys. Good morning. Not very many friendly people today. Like those guys should have slowed down because of that little one, but they don't. And it's really sad. If you're gonna go that fast, you really should be on the street. These are supposed to be recreational paths. They're not time trial paths or trails. Okay, it's not what they're for. They're for recreation. They're for hikers and walkers and dog walkers and skateboarders and skaters and bicycle and recreational bicycle and trike riders, So, but a lot of people just sadly don't seem to care much, really. But yeah, now we're at Fillmore Street and Pikes Peak Greenway. They're supposed to be reconstructing this bridge in the next couple of years, and they're supposed to be making an access trail where you can actually get up to Fillmore Street. Yeah, hoping we won't buy that artificial rock fall, you know, that you could hear the sound of the water, because it's definitely a lot stronger than it has been for quite a while. But like I said, we had a very solid but gentle rain from about 4 p.m. yesterday to till probably, like I said, 5 or 6 o'clock this morning. Yeah, it's kind of too bad they have the you know, so much vegetation, because it'd be really cool to howdy, see if I can spin this around and get any of the rear view here. I think I can. Yeah, just a little bit into the sunflower. Actually, I guess they're not sunflowers. They have a different name. Black-eyed Susan. I think that's what somebody told me the other day. Black-eyed Susan. Now, this person who's coming downhill is supposed to slow down. Howdy. Okay. Well, she went off-road totally, so that's cool. All right. But yeah, I know this is you know, a trail that we do a lot, but sadly, to be totally honest, we don't really have any choice. We don't own a car, in case you're new. We haven't had a car for, well, probably going on 5 years now. And before that, we only had a car for maybe 2 or 3. Maybe I should give it another 5. So basically, you know, my wife and I are 70 years old. It's okay, ladies, she doesn't mind. And you know, so we've you know, and the last time we owned cars, you know, for a long time, was clear back in our, you know, late 30s, early 40s. But most of 50, howdy, and a little of 60, you know, we didn't have a car. So our trikes are not only our recreation, they are also our transportation. And I built a little cargo trailer that hooks onto the back of the trike by a small hitch made from an old burly child carrying trailer. Howdy, howdy. Let him go by. All right. But yeah, I probably won't be recording any video on the way back, because you guys have seen it all before. So, excuse me. Dummy here, in his hurry, ran off without his water bottle, so I don't have any water right at the moment. Good thing it's not, howdy? Good thing it's not screaming hot. And I do have lemon throat drops, so I can at least use those till I can get someplace and buy a bottle of water. That bike's behind me. Thank you very much. Have a good day. 1, 2, you too. 3, and 4. Okay, we're clear. All right. And he said, you know, if I rode a road bike and I wanted to keep any speed, I'd be out in the road. I wouldn't be on the trail. Now, if you're on a road bike and you're just kicking along, I mean, nothing against Colorado Springs, but they have the speed limit here on these trails at 20 miles an hour, which is ridiculously fast. It is. It's just ridiculously fast. A lot of these trails just really aren't safe for everybody going 20 miles an hour. Howdy, howdy, howdy. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. But like I said, I waited till about 5 after, and there was no sign of anybody coming. So, but it's much more cloudy up here as we're heading north. Although it does look like it's trying to evaporate a little, so that's good. Like I said, if we could just get the morning hours, because I've got the meet at Smashburger scheduled for 11, so that works good. You know, so we should be done by noon, and hopefully be home by about 1. Howdy. It's not a day I'm trying to get in. You know, Joe and I don't really try to get in any certain amount of miles. We like to do at least 10 if we can. But sometimes, you know, according to weather and what you're doing, and you know how you physically feel, being like I said, we're 70 years old, so you know, we don't have the we don't have the stamina that you know, we used to have. So and we have noticed that I don't know about you guys. Good morning, passing on your left. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
So glad.
But yeah, especially when it gets hot, and it seems like it's only been in the last couple of years that the heat started to affect me, because before then, I could ride it. Howdy. I could ride in 90 and 100 degree heat without any problems at all, as long as I had water. But oh, what do we got here? We got a bunch of something, and I can't tell what it is. Howdy. Hello. Good job. Now we got glass. That's what I was worried about. On the way back, if it isn't raining, I have a little whisk broom and dustpan, a little tiny thing, you know, made for doing the inside of your car. And I'll pull that out and sweep that glass away. Morning. Morning. All right. And up here is a BMX track. Howdy. It's kind of sad they didn't have this, you know, when we were kids. If you're our age or in that age group, you know, BMX came out a little later. Now my son Steven, bless his soul, sadly he's in heaven now, but I shouldn't say that. He's in heaven looking down upon us, because I hope that he's, you know, well better off than we are. So but finish the story. He was in BMX, and at a very fortunate time, because I was an apprentice at a bike shop called the Bikery. It was at the corner of Delmonico and Rockrimmon up north. Of course, it's been gone for many, many years. In fact, the shop really only lasted for 2 years, because basically what happened is the owner, Phil, great guy, man, I absolutely loved working for Phil. He and his wife had problems and got into a really mean divorce, and she ended up with the business, and he ended up just getting booted, poor guy. But she had no idea what she was doing, and she wouldn't listen to me. I've been around at least long enough to know what people wanted, what they were buying, And then she got some weird boyfriend, and he thought he was a genius. Howdy? He seriously thought he was a genius. So, and he just started ordering goofy stuff that, none of it sold. So basically, he ran her out of business. So they ended up, liquidating everything. And I wish I would have had, if I'd had the money, I'd have bought the business from him. Because, like I said, I'm no business genius, don't get me wrong. But my wife, Jo, is really good with numbers, okay? She's really good with numbers, And, she's worked retail for a lot of years. So, she did work retail for, over 50 or 60 years. And so I would have let Jo be the business manager, and I would have just, I would have been the operations manager, And I think we could have made a go out of it because the shop was in a really good area. The people up there in that part of Colorado Springs, well, they have money. They're not like millionaires, but they have money. And so, it wasn't uncommon, for a husband to come in, pick himself up a mountain bike, and then order bikes for the entire family, and maybe a couple of extras in case the cousins or the nephews or whatever showed up. It was it was an affluent area at the time. It probably still is, but I don't know. It's been too many years. But so I ran one of my extra jobs at the shop was running the BMX team. So it was really good for Steven because Steven was a real, Steven is my stepson, and from Joe's first marriage, but he's my son. I never used the step, and but he is a small kid, like his mom. He's a small kid, really thin. He ate like a horse. He did, man. He ate like a horse, but his metabolism is like fantastic, Like, I'll give you an example. We go to McDonald's, and I'd get a Big Mac and a small fry and a small Coke. Steve would get 2 Big Macs, 2 large fries, and a medium Coke. Howdy? And yet, to be totally honest with you, he was barely around as one of my thighs, but he was wiry, and so I got him a very special racing machine. He had a titanium framed, yes, the frame was made out of titanium, not steel, but a titanium framed Kuwahara BMX machine. At the time, top of the line red line alloy cranks. He had special wheels. They were 20 by 1 3/8, so they were thin, and tires were real high pressure, so you know they didn't sink in quite so much. So, and the bike was super light, and he did well. I mean, you know, he was never like one of the big dogs, but for a little tiny skinny kid, he held his own. And then he and I went, as he got older, you know, we traded in the BMX stuff and got him a mountain bike, and he and I went mountain bike racing. Yes, I was a mountain bike racer. I was not a professional. I never made it out of the amateur ranks. Because to be honest with you, when you get me in a bicycle off-road, I have a terrible habit of doing something stupid and basically launching myself over the handlebars and rolling down the hill where the bicycle stays in one place. But Steven adapted pretty quickly. He's pretty good at it. But, oh, we had a blast, man. Those were some good times. Good times. Okay, sorry. You know us old folks, you know. We go back into the, you know, memory lane. But, yeah. Oh, goodness. People, you need to get a hold of that little kid. Howdy. She's trying to corral him in. Howdy. Using the stroller. I'm going to back off here a little bit. Oh, what time is it? It's still morning. Okay. Good morning, folks. Passing on your left. Don't worry, I will watch. Good morning. Passing on your left. Thank you very much. You all have a great day. Kids are cute. So what time do I got? Now I only have 20 minutes. So I was going to maybe go a little further. I was going to go up to Criterion Bike Shop and turn around. But since I only have 20 minutes, and I still have to get up the hill here. I have a big hill. But yeah, so now when you see the videos, they're going to be, at times, using two cameras. Because I have the GoPro 6 hard mounted via a space saver bar, as they call them, or a T-bar, and to do big downhills, or if I just want to do like music, which is what I might do on the way back. I might use the GoPro 6 to record. The only bad thing about it is it's not quite tall enough, so you're going to see some of my toes, but it's not a real big deal. Okay, well, we're almost there. I mean, technically we're at the shopping center, the retail center. Hi. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to meet up with some people and, you know, have lunch. You know, it'd be kind of nice to have some camaraderie. But, you know, that's the way it goes. That's the great thing about hello. That's the great thing about riding, you know, a trike, is that well, I was out for a ride anyway. So we're gonna go around this way. I gotta drop this here. I'm at 3. No wonder I'm going so fast. Don't need to be at 3. It's flat here. But again, like I said, thanks for coming along. One thing I want to let you know, there's little symbols on the YouTube page. The thumbs up means you liked it, and thumbs down, howdy, means you didn't. But you can also leave a comment on the YouTube page itself, and I do try to answer every comment. You know, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. So, yeah, you know, so please feel free to leave a comment. And again, really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. She didn't even try to stop. And share the video for me. All right. Now we got to go through here. It's really busy because there's a Trader Joe's market to my left. And he's gonna and let me sneak by here. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Of course, Panera Bread is on the. See, we usually go to Panera Bread when it's just Joe and I, but we're going to Smash Burger today, and but it's on the other end, and I could have used the actual, parking lot roads, but I'd rather not. Okay, I gotta check, make sure nobody's coming. Thank you. And all right, so we are just about there. Going over to this section of buildings here. We got to go down the hill here. And made it with 15 minutes to spare. So like I said, I'll probably do music on the way back. So until we see you again, whether it be on the trail or in a video, as always, from BJ Ondo, out and about on the Recumbent, happy trails. Bye.